So for the first time in like a long while, I'm filming again properly. So for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Ade, and this is Chasing Better with Ade. So a bit of what I do on the channel, I like to film interesting things. I love sustainable commuting. I like to commute from place to place sustainably, and I drive a Tesla. And from time to time, I will do like a Tesla video review and whatnot. But for the last little while, I haven't been posting Tesla videos. And some persons have been wondering why. Actually, I haven't even, recorded or filmed or posted anything in a while. I didn't have a creative block or anything. Maybe you can call it that, but this was kind of caused by YouTube. So one of my channels, the only channel that pays me, got banned by YouTube for inauthentic content. And those of you who know, they've just been throwing that word around because that channel has no AI components to it at all. So it's kind of weird that they will ban it for inauthentic content. I tried to fight it, but even after, trying and arguing with them, nothing came out of it. Anyway, this morning's video is not about that. This is my first video back, and I just thought, like my first long form video, the last little while, you guys would have been seeing me posting recordings from my Ray-Ban Meta glasses of my cycling and my riding commute. Oh, what's happening? There are a bunch of kids running around, jogging on the roadside, I think from the school around us. I think this is where I need a 360 camera. If it was a 360 camera, it would have captured that scene. Anyway, so like for health reasons, I started biking. I resumed biking to work. If you've been around on this channel long enough, you would know my love for cycling, and I've posted a few videos here and there of me cycling. But recently I got back to it full time. I had to stop because I had like a really bad back pain. And because of the back pain, I could not do anything. I was in pain and I had to stop riding for like 6 months. And even when I thought I was ready to ride, I spoke to my doctor. He was like, no, don't do it. Go get an e-bike of some sort. And I'm like, oh, an e-bike, that's for old people. Well, here I am riding an e-bike to work. For what it's worth, my commute is around 22 kilometers, depending on where I started from and, which office campus I'm going on the day. So round trip, we're talking 44 kilometers, right? Sometimes 45 or more if I have to pick my little one at daycare, which has become a daily routine now. So if you're familiar with Metro Vancouver axis, I basically ride from Queensborough all the way to Vancouver. So I ride to Cambie and Broadway. So that's some distance, but yeah, it feels good to be back at it. And I know I'm gonna stick with this one because so far in the last 4 weeks, I've already done 416.9 kilometers, it says. I think by the end of this week, we should be around 450 kilometers. So that's something. Another reason why I love this ride is, you see, I ride right under the SkyTrain. So there is the bike cycling system here in Metro Vancouver. It's pretty good, it's pretty decent. Although there are some kinks here and there that I think I'm gonna talk about in subsequent videos, but today let's praise it. It's really good. So I basically ride along the length of the SkyTrain. So for the most part, I'm riding away from where there are vehicles, except at intersections like the one we just crossed now, where there are like conflict points. Like I said, I'll talk about some of those later. You have to wait behind the line. But overall, it's a pretty neat system. Even when there's early morning sun, for the most part, you're riding under the shade. It's a bit chilly. You come out into the sun a little bit, get warm, you get back under the shade. It's pretty comfortable, convenient. So it's made me sort of taking this seriously. Hence my, putting out the first video once again after a while, on here. So I'm gonna see how it does, because I know I've left channel for a while. If this doesn't get traction, I might have to just create a new channel from the scratch. But I hope you guys love this, and if you're interested in active commuting, a car-free lifestyle videos. Technically, I'm not car-free because we still have a second car. You see, I ride alongside the SkyTrain. Technically it's not completely car-free lifestyle we live because my wife still drives the car. That's the one she drives to work. She basically owns the car now. Well, like she has always owned it anyway. So but it's kind of fun to be able to just get out and enjoy this ride. So to the story that this video title is all about, I've been doing this for the past, by doing this I mean, I've been biking since maybe like I was 10. However, like I would say I took more interest in it when I was in university. I think that was like my second year. I bought a bicycle. And I bought a bicycle to actually save cost, So I realized like if I buy the bicycle, the money I have to spend, because I lived off campus at the time, so the money I would have to spend taking myself to school every day by taking the bus, taking a bike in Nigeria. So a bike, I mean by a motorcycle, pay for it, you're a passenger on the bike, someone picks you up. So I quickly realized that the bicycle would pay for itself within a few months. That was the first time that I would say I understood, the beauty or the power of, why cycling is the best. Because at the time it was just about the cost. It's cheap, and I did it. I got a bike. People called me all sorts of names because it wasn't considered, which is kind of backward when you think about it. But it wasn't considered the cool thing to do. The cool thing to do is, oh, you're a big boy. You pay a motorbike to pick you up. That's the cool thing to do, right? So buying a bicycle and, riding around with it, it's saying like, oh, like you're poor. Well, I was poor. I was supporting myself, of course, with some help from family, but hustling and doing all I can, working hard to support myself through the education. So any money I can save is a win. You see, I get to ride through this kind of place. It's just beautiful, man. It's beautiful. So that was my first foray. Morning. You see what e-bike does to you. When I used to ride like a hybrid bike, a regular bike like that one, people on e-bike would just go past me on, on an incline, and I'm like, oh, that's cheating. I joke about it, but that's fine. Anyway, back to my point. That was my first foray into cycling, and I've been doing it since then. We're talking some 13, 15 years now. And then when I came here to Canada at UBC, I also got a bike on campus. For some reason, I always get cheap bikes. This one, the fun story about it was a bike from an auction. So basically, in one of the buildings at UBC, I lived there. It's called St. John's College. And, this is something that happens across campus. So people come in to study, they buy a bicycle, they ride it. Many times when they are leaving, whether they don't even remember, whether they don't care about it at that point in time, maybe some of them are returning to their countries. Also, most times you buy those bikes off Facebook Marketplace. So you're like, forget it. I'm not going to do anything with it. So they leave their bikes there. So every year, there's like a team on the that lives or that not manages, but that handle such kind of thing in that particular residence. And what they do is they will go mark all the bikes that are parked. They'll tag them. So they'll send out an email and announce to everybody that, oh, maybe you have like a month. And they usually do it during school time when everybody is around. So you have a month to remove a tag from your bike if it is your bike. So if you don't remove it, we're going to cut off the locks and would auction this bike on the remaining bikes on so and so day. You would be amazed at how much bikes you can find. So pro tip if you live in Vancouver, and you want to, although they don't announce it publicly, but I don't know. I also don't know if that practice is still on, because we're talking about 8 years now. Anyway, that was how I got the bike, some cheap auction. And it was a really good bike. It was a pretty decent hybrid bike. I ended up giving it out when I was leaving campus. Relax. Like, why do people honk? Like the lights barely turn green. You see, I'm gonna come, that's another story. I have so much stories to tell that I think I'm gonna, when I'm done with this story, I'm gonna end it. And then, tell the other story as another day, so I don't bore you guys with like long, unending stories. Because this is getting long already. So that's how I got the bike, and I ended up giving it out to someone. when I was leaving campus as well. So at the point, my first job, I was working downtown. I also got a bicycle. I was living in Kitsilano, so I would bike to work, and it was good. And then I moved out of Vancouver, moved away to less bike-friendly cities. Although I think that I'm talking Calgary. Shifter would disagree. The very popular cycling channel here in Canada. He lives out of Calgary and pretty much bikes all year round. But I don't see myself biking in such slippery area in winter. But I'm happy to do it here. Anyway, so that culture kind of died. So when I came back to Vancouver, I resumed then. But then father time has kind of caught up with me, and then that was when I got the injury, and now I'm back on an e-bike. So that's my story of getting into the e-bike. Now that was a big digression from the point I really wanted to make. So the point I wanted to make is that, for all these years that I've been biking or cycling around, I have never had a puncture. I've never had a flat, never. So I'm talking 15 years. You might say, okay, I don't bike enough, but I think I did, but I never had a puncture. Guess what? I got an e-bike, 400 kilometers in, I got a puncture. I just got on my bike that morning, and for some reason, I didn't even quickly notice. So I rode it that way to work, and then when I was about coming back home, the tire was done. There was no way to take me home. So I had to quickly pump it at work and then brought it on. So when I got home, I wasn't sure what's wrong. So I pumped it up again, and then only for it to lose air within just a few, like a few minutes. Like I'm talking less than 5 minutes. And then I knew I've got a bad puncture, a really bad puncture. I need to do something about it. So that's how I knew I've got a really bad puncture, right? So I just rode past someone who was smoking, and I'm gonna make a separate video for this another day. But yeah, I felt really uncomfortable, but that's not for this video. So I was trying to figure out what it was. I pumped it up, with air. I actually thought it was like the walls of the tire, the side walls are what's leaking, But it wasn't, it's not tubeless. Although I think I'm gonna go tubeless now. We'll probably do it myself. I like to try my hands on things. I like to learn new stuff. So I'm gonna try. Wow. Like just a few seconds of waiting. So that was when I realized I don't even have a patching kit. I used to have a patching kit. I gave it out when I gave away my bike. The first one I got here. Anyway, the chicken has come home to roost, and I don't have a solution around it. So I was already thinking, I'm gonna haul this thing, load it onto, onto my car. So, my point being, the day you decide, if you've never had a puncture before, the day you decide to get an e-bike is the day you would get your first puncture. So do not be like me, go get a patch kit. Get something very lightweight, easy that you can, maybe add on to, your bike frame, your bike saddle, something quick and easy, something you can throw into your bags if you're always moving around with a pannier, which I tend to do now. So I think I'm just gonna I don't need to buy something that needs to, attach to the saddle. So that's it this morning. Enjoy some of these footages from this ride, and I would see you guys.